Good evening, Club Top Shot Nation. We had a recent State of the Union from Roham. We got all kinds of stuff to discuss. We have flash challenges, and I need to ask MBL about using military time on his phone. Let's do this. Damien, you can retire. Let's call up Steve Kerr right now. Tell him you're done. 3-on-2 game.
Oh, I'm an incredible basketball player. Awful shooter. Awful shooter.
Nasty jumper.
Would he ever gamble on shooting?
Here we go.
Let's see.
We got Jaw lighting up again.
On that note, let me go.
All right.
Club Top Shop going up on a Tuesday.
Love. Who do you have over at your house, Mike? You're talking to someone that's not your wife.
How do you know that?
I guess I could hear it.
He's talking to his Irish friend, aka his burner account.
No, he's actually American, but he's been living in the Philippines and now England for the last 10 years or something. But he's in town right now, and it's his phone that was military time.
Oh,
not mine. We were at a bar
right
together having a good time, and he just wanted to observe Club Top Shot in the flesh.
Wow.
He's here. Should I bring him in for a sec? He can
bring
say
him on
hello.
camera.
Is there something on the very top of Mike's little...
Yes, I was gonna bring that up too.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Corey, say hello, Corey. He can't hear you. It's in my headphones.
Ask him.
All right, ask him what.
Ask him about the military time thing.
All right, why do you have military time on your phone?
I would say it's pretty standard overseas.
It's standard overseas. Wait, you guys can hear him. All right.
No, I can hear him. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I have no further questions. I hope you have a lovely
night. You don't get
night.
a confusion that you get with what's 2 p.m. I guess 2 p.m. you wouldn't get so confused. So, it's way more distinct. Yeah.
He has no reason. It sounds like not a single reason. But yeah, we had a few beers. He's back in town for now, so we're living it up.
I'm ripping packs.
Yeah, he was ripping common packs, base packs at the bar. He got 5 today.
He was in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
He got a couple Draymonds, a couple Lucas.
A lot of Trey.
Yeah, a lot of Trey.
There you go. Has MBL shamed you about your collector score yet?
His collector score is 444. I did shame him at the bar. I was like, "What are you doing with your life?"
I'm not a Club Top Shot. I've got room to improve, obviously. But.
That's right. Mike, your mic quality doesn't sound like it's hooked up right.
Hello. Is that better?
A little better.
All right. He's far away. He's going back to his viewing chair now.
Oh, yeah.
You set up a little viewing chair where he just looks at you straight while you talk.
Yes.
Your internet friends.
It's pressure.
Jack, how are you doing?
Yes, really awesome.
I'm doing well. How are you doing? I'm getting some OG vibes of the show. I'm back in Florida for the week. That's where I spent the majority of my quarantine. I bought the LeBron number 23 in this room. This is the room where we streamed the first Club Top Shot. So I'm getting those throwback vibes.
Yeah. How's the game last night?
The experience was fun. I had a great time. The game was terrible. I mean, the Giants are so bad. It's painful. And the Bucks were pretty good. Brady was good. I mean, they definitely didn't play their best game, but they played enough to beat them pretty handedly.
Yeah. What did you you went down for Thanksgiving and then you're like, might as well go to the game while I'm down there?
Yes. So I got to take over the Bucks Snapchat story and do a story takeover and post my type of content on theirs and do some cross promos. So they had me out. They got us tickets, got us a hat and a t-shirt. So it was fun. And then just drove over here this morning.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I had what did I bet? Oh, I bet Giants to cover on that game, and that did not go well for me. Also, big news. You Snapchat, not Snapchat, Snapback. I feel like every week you have another announcement here. Tell the people what you guys launched today.
Yeah, this is the bigger announcement. We've been working on this for a while, but we went official. My business manager, who is now also, of course, my business partner, we launched an agency to rep and help out digital creators and talent. We believe that it's an underserved market right now, given that, there's 1,000 agents for every single NFL, MLB, NBA player, but digital creators are kind of the next wave. They can influence, send more traffic, and be more relevant than a lot of even the tier A or tier B athletes. So we want to make sure they have representation, they have connections, relationships, resources, etc. And to the people asking why Pete hasn't signed on yet, we've had conversations, and that's in the works as well.
What about Mike? You haven't had conversations with Mike? No conversations with Mike.
No conversations with Mike. Yes.
How many followers? How many followers?
It's not a follower thing. It's really
how much impact?
Yeah, exactly.
What collector score? What do we need?
Yeah, it's a collector score.
Jack was actually kind of talking to me, and they've been kind of auditing you, and they need to see more 25 tweet threads from you.
Yeah. What is your thing, right? Like Pete is funny. Mike, your thing is threads, but if you don't put out any threads, then what are we going to sell?
Isn't that what you're here for? To tell me what I should be doing?
We do some consulting as well. So you're right. Okay. I'll get on.
All right.
We'll talk.
And for client Pete, can you guys comp him a new camera or what? What's the deal over there?
Dude, I'm so fucking tilted right now because I just got a new computer and the thing can apparently, power NASA over here. And yet I'm still getting hit with the StreamYard low connectivity issue. So I'm tilting hard here, especially when we have Johnny Bales in the chat. He wants to know a throwback here to which meats he thinks Roham enjoys.
I had steak for dinner. I had a steak, a filet with Roquefort cheese. It was quite delicious. But we will have some Roham chatter tonight, but I don't know his favorite type of meat.
Yeah, we've we avoided Jack getting canceled back then, and fresh off the heels of launching the snapback agency, we probably need to avoid that again.
Yeah,
for now.
Yeah. Speaking of controversy in Club Top Shot, I mean, our guy Beef Stew just making major headlines. When I saw that, my first thing, because I just saw the video, and I was like, "There's no way that's the guy we talked to on Club Top Shot, right?" I'm like, "There's no way." Are you fucking kidding me, Beef Stew? I didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
I just he didn't have that kind of energy on our show.
I agree. I was thoroughly impressed with his ability to fight through NBA players, security guards, coaches, to get extremely close to Russell Westbrook's jiu-jitsu stance, if you guys saw. And that was a crazy scene. And honestly, I'm on Team Beef Stew. I'm a huge LeBron homer, one of the biggest LeBron homers. Is he gone, Jack? It's just us. What do we do? Mom and Dad
this is your tryout. This is your tryout, Mike.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't understand.
Jack, I love LeBron, but in this instance, it felt like LeBron overreacted, and
right.
Beef Stew had a beef, and I thought it was something. LeBron should be a bit better than this at this point. I can get for a younger player, but he knows people are going to be pushing at him, prodding at him, and he's got to be better than that. And it was a bit disappointing to see. And I'm on Team Beef Stew for the purposes of the beef.
I gave LeBron the benefit of the doubt. Everyone claimed it was intentional. I think the intent was he was trying to swing and catch him in the chest and be physical. I don't think the intent was to punch him in the face. I've talked about it a few times since it happened. Even if it's been a frustrating season for LeBron, he's been hurt, and the Lakers, they haven't been playing well, and they're down 12 to the Pistons, all these things. LeBron James to punch a 23-year-old in the face, and it just doesn't seem likely to me.
So let's say I agree.
But okay, but then this is my real take. I think the fact that he was suspended for a game and Isaiah Stewart suspended for 2 doesn't make much sense to me, because it's either one of two things. You either declare it was unintentional, right? In which case, I think flagrant 2 for the game is fine. But if you declare that it was unintentional, why suspend him at all? If he didn't mean to do it, it just happened, right? And he lost that half of the game. And if it was intentional, then that's probably like a 5 to 10 game suspension, right? You can't go around just hitting people in the face, bloodying them up. So that is where I feel on LeBron. With Stewart, I know he like went after him, but like he didn't do anything. He just kind of ran around looking like an idiot.
So I agree that I don't think LeBron was out there literally kind of face to face punching him. Having said that, I think that in his reaction, trying to get away from Isaiah's hold or whatever we want to call it, we've all been in that situation. You pull out your arm and you flail a little bit. He's not trying to hit him. It wasn't purely him trying to pull his arm back. He wanted some level of contact. I don't think he was trying to punch him in the face and draw blood, but he wanted some level of contact. And my view is kind of LeBron needs to be above this crap at this point in his career. It's like, yeah, it's annoying, but the same way Lance Stevenson blew in his ear, literally blew air in his ear, and everyone goes after LeBron. LeBron needs to rise above it, and maybe he's held to a different standard. But yeah, he should be held to a different standard. He's up for consideration for the best player ever, and he shouldn't be falling to those standards. And he kind of needs to get a hold of his team here, focus them on the actual season, getting them a decent playoff spot. And it's a basketball season. Like get over the ego and whatever else. And like I feel like there was a lot of stuff coming out in one physical emotion where he's frustrated about the season. He's frustrated about Westbrook being kind of garbage. He's frustrated about AD potentially being over the hill a little bit and seeing his title chances slipping away and not really having a clear path to getting a title. And I get it. He's frustrated, but it's like be better than that.
Pete, you look much better.
Yeah,
you look great. Very handsome.
I'm working on some stuff over here. Bales wants to know if any of us are going to be in Miami here. I am not. Jack, are you going to be in Miami for this event?
I'm not. I've had too many trips to Florida this year, the end of the year, that I'm skipping Miami. But if Bales wants to go out on New Year's, I could come check out the pad.
Yeah, Bales, win invite here to this mysterious Miami pad we have heard about. Jeremy has invited us to his Miami pad, but we haven't gotten the Bales invite yet.
Hate to hear that.
So I missed a lot of the beef stew conversation.
Well, what's your thought? This is great unencumbered thought. What do you think without hearing our thoughts?
I mean, do
you know what happened?
What? I saw the highlight. I don't. What? How long did he get suspended for?
LeBron, one game. Beef stew, 2 games.
Okay. I mean, I legitimately didn't know that guy had it in him to just I just remember just trying to pull questions out of him on our show, and then he's charging down the greatest player.
No one bloodied him up. You know what I mean? If you had sent Mike over there and had him punch him in the face, maybe he would have been more engaged.
That's right. I do need to go check in on my Pistons NFTs now, see if they're pumping after that, after the beef stew controversy.
Yeah, they were. I got it was going to have Malice in the Palace Part 2 NFTs ready to fly. It was really going to be something.
You guys see that documentary on Netflix, the Malice in the Palace one?
Yeah.
Jack, you were young when that happened.
Yeah, I know it as like folklore. Like that's essentially what it is to me. I didn't live it. So a lot of the context that they talk about was actually was interesting to me. Yeah. I thought they could have played out like the kind of the resolution and that post a little more. Like they had a ton of buildup, kind of happened, and then they had nothing on like the court case or how any of that. But I thought it was really good. I thought it was pretty impressive. Did you guys see King Richard yet, by the way?
No.
King Richard is about Serena and Venus's dad on HBO. Highly recommend.
Really?
I thought it was one of the best. It's one of the best things I've seen this year. Like, I just thought it was incredible. So if anyone's bored over Thanksgiving or wants to get away from their family, go watch.
Who's the crazier dad, the Williams dad or Tiger Woods?
Or Tigers? Dad? So the most insane part of it is like how both their dads literally spoke these things into existence, genuinely believed it, and then their children actually became the greatest of all time. Who was crazier though?
Survivor bias. There's lots of parents out there who try this. They just happen to be the ones who land.
Right, but like, two of them did. I would say Tiger's dad was. I mean, based off obviously, the HBO is not real. It's based on story. Where Tiger's dad, like they have actual footage. Tiger's dad seems like Tiger's dad had him sitting in a high chair at like 6 months, like swinging in the garage, like practicing to swing. But both are excellent.
I mean, the crazy thing, the quote I can't get out of my head from the Tiger doc was when he was talking about how he wanted Tiger Woods to be like Gandhi. And it was like, he didn't want him to just be the best athlete on the world. Like he wanted him to be this global icon for his, charitable. And I was like, okay, this guy is off his rocker if these are the things he's projecting onto his child.
You just never really we're living it, right? So we watched Serena kind of become the greatest ever, and Venus and her, go head to head in these finals. But like, there's a moment when she, before she plays her first professional match, Venus, where Nike offers her like a $5 million contract. She's 15 and she turns it down. And it's like, just the insanity of all of it is really nuts when you look back on the whole situation.
Yeah, I will definitely check that documentary out.
Yeah.
So we did have some happenings in the Top Shot world over the weekend. It was an anticipated Q&A with Roham. Jack, I know you put up kind of your wish list of things you were hoping that you might hear. It sounds like, were you the only one to listen to it live? Did you check into it live?
I was listening to it live, and I thought it was, we'll talk about it. But yeah, Mike, you didn't tune in live, right?
I didn't. I have a great excuse. My excuse was I was at a pinball exposition in Massachusetts, and I bought a pinball machine.
I mean, I have so
talk
many
about
questions.
the top. Talk about the top.
First of all, where in Massachusetts was this, Mike?
Sturbridge, Massachusetts, which I learned about on Saturday. I didn't know it existed before then.
I feel like you end up at so much random shit.
Wild.
Like how did
I
you?
try to keep things interesting,
What who
I
did you go
respect
with? What were you doing?
All right, I'll give the abridged version. If you want details, let me know. The abridged version is I bought a house and I have a basement now, so I wanted to make the basement fun. I have a ping pong table, and I was like, let me get a pool. Sorry, not a pool table, a pinball machine. And so one of my friend's dads is a big pinball collector. He has 6 pinball machines in his basement, and so we had an hour-long conversation talking strategy on pinball, 50s, 60s machines, the latest machines, what's still out there, what's the brands, what's the themes, what's the strategies. And then he let me know there was a pinball expo in Massachusetts. We went together. I didn't know if I was going to come back with a machine. There were some for sale, some just for free play. And I saw one. It's Shack Attack themed. Shack Attack.
Wow.
And it is fantastic. It's from 1994, Orlando Magic Shack. And the music is like so 90s.
Would you say it has vintage vibes, Mike?
Come bring
yes,
it upstairs.
it has vintage vibes. No, I don't bring it upstairs. I bring me downstairs with the phone. But I don't know if now's the time. But anyway, I bought a Shack machine. The owner drove it down from Cape Cod. He delivered it on Sunday, and
no,
it's fantastic.
Mike, no, this is definitely the time. We're going to hop over to a Spaces here in like 25 to 30 minutes. Send us down to see the pinball machine.
Can I do it on my phone? Can I get into StreamYard on my phone? I don't know how this stuff works.
Yeah, my
go to the link on your phone.
Tweaking. What's your, yours can't be any worse on your phone.
All right, should I go now? I don't know. What to do.
Yeah, get it set up here, and while Jack will give the people some of his snap takes from the Roham Q&A.
All right, goodbye.
Snap takes from the Roham.
Well, how about this one? Like I heard some rumblings about the rake back one, which has been one of the bigger kind of things people have, hypothesized about. There's been rumors that there's regulatory issues with it. What did he say along those regards?
He did not use the words rake back under my remembering. Yeah. But he did definitely infer that there will be a give back of some sort based on marketplace spend. Didn't say net, didn't say total. But the one thing for sure that I can confirm, he said that it will be tiered. So whatever that means, I guess the more you spend, you'll be in a higher tier. But didn't give a date, didn't give details. Did it, I'm in this place where like enough is enough of like the promises and we're working on it. Yeah. It's now I'm in a position where it's like either you do it or you don't, right? You can continue to promise it, but like the people, Jacob in the middle. I'll say one thing that actually really upset me that I think is is probably not great. The enthusiasm on the office hours, like if you were a new collector or an old collector, all the same, like it just was impossible to get excited during it. Like they both sounded like they were kind of asleep. And I think that was a major miss. Like if they're not going to sound excited about it, how are we going to sound excited about it? All right,
Yeah.
Mike, show us the pinball.
Can I flip my camera or no? How do I flip the camera? We don't know.
I think that's probably
All right,
just
I don't know how to flip it. Anyway.
Oh,
Wow.
baby. Look at
All
that.
right, hold on.
That's
Hold
pretty
on.
slick.
Dude, I
I'm
love
turning it
this.
on now. It's so 90s. Just listen to this.
This is what gives NFTs a bad name. Is Mike nerding out
This
over a
should give
pinball?
NFTs a good name. This is a true collector's thing. I can't sell this. All right.
Verge is their basement. Play
Yeah,
pinball.
exactly.
You see there's
Is this your mom's house, MBL?
This is my house. And look, it's called Shack Attack. Here's the side of the machine.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
No,
it's, I mean, it's
it's
unreal.
definitely-
Yeah.
I love it.
All
And
right.
so had you been hunting for these for a while? You're just like, I'll go to the expo and just buy one off the shelf.
Yeah, more of that. This was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I should get a pinball machine. And I did a little bit of research. I was thinking about getting a newer machine, like a newly manufactured one. Those ones are very expensive. This one was retro and used. I've turned it off now. And I went to the expo. It was honestly a great time. Again, some machines from the 50s and 60s, different strategies, different layouts, different themes. Some from the new ones, Stranger Things themed, Metallica, AC/DC, whatever. I saw the Shack Attack, and I was like, I gotta have a Shack Attack. So
how much ETH did those cost?
This was a little less than half of 1 ETH, and I was like, this is a steal. I've done way cheaper shit.
Okay, that doesn't seem too bad.
It was honestly a steal. The owner drove down, like I said, from Cape Cod. He helped me get it down to the basement. He helped me set it up. Then we played against each other in pinball. We had a day. His name is Dale, the pinball man, and he's a legend.
And now he lives in your au pair suite, and he's going to be coming on the show in a few minutes.
Talk to me about the community of pinball. The community.
Okay. The community is fantastic. It is. So we went to this expo. The greatest appeal is it's probably like 200 machines, all in free play mode. You don't need quarters, obviously, and like the community aspect is great. If you're waiting online, as soon as someone gets game over, they let you play. It's great. Everyone talks about the machines they have, the machines they want to get, the rare machines. They're like, oh, there's only 600 of the Subway game from 1954. Like, I know one friend who has one, and it's worth like $12,000, super scarce. And it's a huge community. People travel for this stuff. People flew in for it, and it's really fantastic. People are super, super helpful. So when I first got this, I identified the Shack Attack. I was like, I'm interested in buying this. And there was no way for me to get it from Massachusetts to Westchester, New York. And so I called the owner and I was like, sir, I'm interested in buying your machine, but I can't get it to my house. And so he's like, don't worry. Like, I can feel your passion and how much you want this. I will drive it down for you. And I was like, this is true community.
God.
This is the kind of community I've been looking for.
And then you guys just had a total bro date.
We had a
in your
day.
basement.
He drove like
Is he
5 hours
nasty?
to get here. Okay, so he honestly, I thought he was gonna be better. He was like, okay. But so the older people, he's like probably 50, they like tilt the machine to try and make it so they don't like lose their ball. It's a whole strategy thing. But anyway, so he drove like 5 hours to get here. And then while here, he had 2 Stellas, and I gave him some food. It was like a whole situation. And then he was on his way.
I feel like every time Mike retells this story, we get like a new nugget. It's like, I made him dinner. And I was giving you
No dinner. But look,
And then
I got the whole.
he was
look,
on
this is
his
the
way
manual.
after sleeping over.
Now,
Is he the godfather to your unborn son now?
Honestly, he might be. He's in contention. But it was beautiful. But in short, this is why I missed the Roham Ask Me Anything. So, Jack,
right. I
That's how
forgot.
we got to that.
I forgot why we even ended up there.
yeah, this is why.
I love it.
All right,
dude.
goodbye. I'm going back. I'm going back to the computer.
All
we'll
right.
see
Your
you in a
audio
minute.
is somehow better on your phone
Yeah.
than it is at the room.
It's not that flattering. I look like an egg now.
You do have the boomer angle, but that's part of the charm.
All right, goodbye.
All right. So what and you said he talked about I agree with your take that like the perpetual teases are, become frustrating.
perfect example on the call. Well, I was finished ranting about like how they just weren't excited. I thought that was like a bummer and just a miss. Like I know it might have been early on the weekend for Roham, but like if you're gonna, I know that's his demeanor, but like Jacob, if you're playing host, right, you gotta get excited about it. It's not easy, but it's kind of part of the gig. So that sucked. But perfect example was like, Roham says, oh, we're going to be burning the moments next week. This was on whatever it was, Saturday. And Jacob's like, oh, Roham bomb. And, they just did finally announce today they're going to be burning the moments. But like, they literally said that in what, March, April? Like that information has been out for almost 7 months. And I'm not saying stuff doesn't take time and you got to prioritize, strategize, but like, if Rakeback or whatever it is isn't coming for another 7 months, and then this isn't coming for 7 months, like it just didn't. The only concrete things that are coming is like complete set holders are getting an infinite objects for Christmas, which is utility, but like it felt like the way they built it up as like almost a damage control session to make a big announcement or to explain the current situation, all that good stuff. I thought it was going to be bigger. And then he said, right, like, no, I'm going to be doing these more often from time to time. And so, okay, it might have just been the start of like a weekly or a bi-weekly or a monthly check-in. But it just like didn't move the needle when the things they said were like infinite objects and like a cosmic sweatshirt. If you own a cosmic set, like no offense, but people who own cosmic sets, I'm definitely not one of them. Like, I don't know if they'd want a sweatshirt. Like, I know it's a clout thing, but like, does anyone really want a sweatshirt because they own $1 million worth of moments? No, they want it to be $2 million worth of moments. And they didn't do anything that could actually, they're playing this very interesting game where they're acting like the price of moments don't matter.
Yeah.
And that to me is awkward. The one thing that they did mention that does show that they do understand the price is like, he said they might build a bot, right, for like high sales because he understands the importance of all of that good stuff. But overall, yeah, it wasn't too exciting. It was a letdown if I had to grade it for how it went.
Yeah. And what was there other stuff he kind of teased? I know First Mint did a tweet thread, and I can pull that up about team set, in game, you hit in stadium, in arena stuff coming.
Yeah, I saw the tweet. I think was it from Mike from Zakarian? I saw it from someone.
It might have been. I know First Mint had the thread. First Mint.
He definitely teased sets of importance, but I saw the tweet kind of get taken out of context, at least from what I heard and listened to. Like I saw the tweet kind of say that if you own a team set, you're definitely going to be getting tickets or something, and that isn't how he made it seem. But once again, like no, it was we're working on this. It's coming down the line, which I understand they are, but there was nothing that they say concretely, like we're going to do this and you should be excited about it. Besides getting a cosmic t-shirt, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Which is super exciting, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that stuff is like that stuff is cool in like a stocking stuffer surprise kind of just gift, not like part of a roadmap to tease.
Exactly.
Kind of
yeah, that was another thing was like he teased the roadmap. Like, how are we teasing roadmaps? Like you said there would be a roadmap and there's no roadmap and they're teasing a roadmap.
Wait, sorry, what roadmap did he tease? Because do you feel like the Series 3 roadmap was like, I guess what above and beyond that were you looking for? Because I feel like Series 3 roadmap was pretty robust.
Where's the roadmap? I haven't seen it. Is it out now?
They described how many moments each player could have, how many rares, how many legendaries, the idea of a legendaries.
Like timing. I mean, all like any true collectible company has like an actual schedule around the release.
Oh, you want the timing of the release? Yeah, they released more information on I guess how many moments each player can have, and
that's not a road. I mean,
it was roadmap-ish. It was roadmap-ish. They called it roadmap.
Right. I get. Okay. So to a degree, I guess they gave a little, but like at
You want
least
more
a
timing?
general. Yeah. Like once again, also All-Star Weekend's going to come around really quickly, right? It's in 3 months. It's in 3 months, and like I don't know. It would be nice to know, are we doing scene stars this year? Are we doing the whatever they did last year with the rookies and the second year guy? Like, have an idea of that, because then you can plan, okay, I'm going to buy my Mobley moment, or I'm going to wait, or, like, okay, how many of them? If we're just talking about scarcity, that doesn't necessarily determine what sets are coming. And I know this stuff is fluid, but I just didn't, I got a lot more promises on, overall.
One thing that I think is cool that they just started doing are the flash challenges, and I know people are having fun, kind of either getting out in front of those as far as trying to, purchase high usage guys, trying to anticipate those, and then scrambling in the marketplace. I know even I got roped into a couple marketplace purchases because I was one short of completing some of those flash challenges. Do you guys have any thoughts on those?
Yeah, I mean, I've been participating because I'm a grinder like that, and I enjoy the chase. I don't know. I feel like they're fun. I would be a much bigger fan of the idea of locking them before the games start.
Yeah.
And so you can try and predict. My guess is there are gambling rules that they run up against if you do that, and if they reward people based on performance of predicting outcomes. I don't know if that's the case, but I mean, it seems pretty obvious. It'd be more fun if you had to lock it in advance. So my guess is there's some sort of rule they're running up against. I like the idea. It's engaging. It's fun to see if your players are going to do well. It's fun to see. JTA had I think he had a high assist game, and that made his moment go high because a lot of people didn't own his. And I think when LaMelo had a good game, his 9,999 moment did pretty well. People play the game, people watch the game. I think that's interesting. I don't love the artificial inflation of some moments based on kind of arbitrary dapper games. I would prefer if there was a predictive element to it and there were some limitations to make it a somewhat equal playing field, and you could try and use NBA knowledge or more similar to DFS type skills to try and win rather than just own the moments after the fact.
Well, I do think you have to have some kind of unpredictability to it to make it fun, but maybe you could have something planned out to where it's like, Wednesdays are rebound night and Fridays are points night and Sundays are assist night. And then you're kind of jockeying ahead of like, oh, I think this is, an up and coming assist guy here that I want to scoop up that might be part of this challenge. Like where you could have a skill element, but it's like you have to have some kind of I don't know, luck or unpredictability to make it an intriguing game over time.
Yeah, I just think right now it's like, for someone in my position, it's like I own a lot of different moments. And it's like most times I just have to add the players to the showcase after the case. I don't have to watch the games. It's not that interesting. And it's like you're basically hoping that a random player does really well because that mixes things up a little bit and shocks the value of that player for 48 hours. Then it sinks back to where it was before. Whereas I think it would be more interesting to use more of like the moment ranks play style of game. And I suspect that Dapper shied away from that again because of the gambling issues and they just don't want to get mixed up in that. But to me, that would be more interesting, and it could be a good way to give legendary moments more utility over common or rare moments that they're worth a little bit more or something like that to justify their value. And it's a difficult thing to do. But I think right now it's a good start, but there's not that much you need to do as a collector unless there's a really, really, really unexpected outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a good step forward, though, of kind of them iterating and, generating, interest, because I think it would be hard to have a take that the flash challenges are a bad thing for the marketplace overall, because you're getting people involved in going and look. Like there's not a lot of reasons for me to generally go shopping in the marketplace, but if I'm missing someone from a flash challenge, you start poking around. Like I think just certain things of getting people on the site like that is a smart idea if they can fine tune it a bit.
Speaking of that, I mean, the one thing he definitely confirmed was the importance of having a mobile app.
Yeah.
which I agree with. You know, he kind of talked about how mobile apps are just really the two things you're looking for is one, you look for Top Shot and everyone instantly goes to the app store. That's our behavior. And two is really just a push notification. So to all of our points forever about how, you know, the communications are all over the place, the most centralized communication realistically is a push from an app, right? And so he talked a lot about that, which I understand and I'm excited about. And they are rejigging kind of they're going to give you more customization options for your collection, which I think is cool as well. And they're starting to think about it as like your NFT wallet, right? Which we all appreciate. Where I agree with Christopher, what happened to Hardcourt, right? And no updates on that. And once again, like they are allowed to take as much time as they want, and that's all part of like building a game is virtually impossible, so that's going to take a while. But the one thing that I'm struggling with is like the open line of communication, right? Which is this is a Web3 blockchain transparent company, and of course there's going to be stuff they absolutely cannot reveal to us, but it feels like there are opportunities to be more transparent about stuff. And it feels like when they're not talking, it feels like they're hiding stuff. And when they don't outwardly talk about stuff, you know, it might not have just gotten brought up, but I don't know. It's interesting.
I'll tell you one thing in terms of what I've learned building Floaty on Flow and trying to integrate with Top Shot and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
The NBA is a huge pain in the ass. And,
right.
You know, we have unexpected things we have to deal with because of the NBA's rules and regulations and all that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, we've been building under a certain impression and we've got to adjust in the 8th inning because of something that's just been conveyed to us and something that's, you know, the Dapper team is like, we just heard this from the NBA lawyers, basically. And so we've got to deal with that. And it's like, the point is there's a lot of parties involved. So I think even, you know, Dapper may have believed Hardcourt, moment ranks play, whatever it is, could work really well. And then suddenly they get, you know, a notice from Mr. Silver or his cronies basically saying, this is no longer good. We don't approve of this. And they have to abide by it.
Would there be a world where you could share that without making them look like a bad partner or bad actor?
Yeah, but
that's
then
kind of what I'm curious about.
Yeah, but then you reach the point where it was like, I don't know if you remember, but Jacob used to come on to office hours and say, we think this will happen. We hope this will happen. And people got pissed off. They're like, why is it so vague? Why aren't you giving us more certainty? What is this shit? I'd rather hear nothing than this. And I think that then you start, you know, then Top Shot tries to address that, tries to be more concrete, and then has to backpedal sometimes. And then we get conversations like this one where it's like, why can't they get their shit together? And it's just, it's a tough spot to be. It's, you know, if they were on an island doing their own thing, I think it would be a little bit easier, but they're dealing with IP, with royalties, with all these kinds of issues. And this isn't to suggest they couldn't do a better job. I really do think that they leave a lot of low-hanging fruit unpicked. They make mistakes. They have miscommunications internally that we get mixed messages. They, you know, release things where one person says one thing on a podcast, another person says another thing, and they're conflicting. This isn't to excuse any of that, but I do think it is complicated.
Yeah. And I think, you know, to me, I agree with all that. I could see how there would be so many kind of loopholes to jump through to pull this off. But instead of teasing stuff, just say, guys, look, it's an absolute bitch to get all of this stuff, you know, lined up and deliver it. There's all kinds of legal hurdles, you know, multiple interest groups here that we're having to navigate, and just say that. And I think it
is crazy. They've never once said that. And to not throw the NBA or whoever it is under the bus is obviously plays a factor, but it really is crazy. Never once have they not taken the blame on something and just been like, look, we're working on that. I think that would help so many people if that was the case, right? We're giving them some benefit of the doubt that is the case. We make assumptions. It's kind of what we do. This whole conversation is kind of my point, which is like, until they do something, I'm not excited about any news, right? I'm not buying anything based off any news at the moment or any promises or any guarantees. That's my biggest takeaway from this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talked to Pete last week, and we all know Pete's in a different stratosphere. But for the people like him that have packed their bags, like I do think that's an interesting thing here. I mean, there's not a lot that's energizing someone like Pete to get back into the marketplace right now. And I think that's a bummer thing. Like, I know, like, just to do a parallel, in the NFT space with like the art blocks, and that's kind of the, prestige project. Like, there's still whales that are going after the curated art blocks projects. And I mean, there's no kind of equivalent to that right now where you're going to get a whale like Pete.
I mean, Mike's doing flash challenges, so I guess.
Well, because Mike's a grinder and a man of the people, but I it's just like what is bringing, I mean, for you, Mike, like what would get you excited to really whip out your wallet, sell your pinball machine, and go splash around again?
I mean, I do still buy in the market right now, so I don't feel like I need that much more. For me, it's kind of when the opportunity arises. If people get a little too bearish and things pop up, I try and buy. Like, just as as an example, not financial advice, perhaps lucky timing, but I bought a Steph Curry Series 1 base moment for like $570 last week, and now the floor is like $800. And it's like, if things get too low and it seems out of place, it's like I'll buy at that point. From a utility standpoint, I always think it's a dangerous game to play, that you need to give someone a reason to come and spend money or whatever else above and beyond the fact that it's a collectible and you think it's like a fun story and something to talk about. It's similar to my perspective on the 9 Lives Lounge, where it's like, you're never going to be able to catch up to expectations. If you make it a utility thing and you have to keep someone like Jennings or Bales or Jeremy Levine engaged when they have a million other things going on, and golf trips and ski trips and interesting entrepreneurial things, you're not going to be able to keep up with that. And so it's like, how do you make this a collectible and something that people take pride in owning, rather than something that you need functional value tied to? And I don't know. I think that's a careful balance. And I know Jeremy early on said he doesn't like the idea of a Top Shot game because that attributes a value to the moment that takes away from their kind of collectible value and makes it a utility value. And that makes it very, very hard for something to break out of a narrow band of, we can calculate how much this is worth because it helps me win this game by 10%, and this game is worth $100 to me, so therefore this is worth $600, whatever it is. And it kind of puts a cap on how much something's worth, versus you look at CryptoPunks or some crypto art or general art, and there's no utility tied to it. It's just, I take pride in owning this. I want to own this. It's scarce. It's interesting. People talk about it, and that's it. And it's a very careful balance right now in terms of which direction Top Shot should go.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, you see the new meta across all these NFT projects is, staking, play to earn. And for the most part, there's the staking, there's the Ponzonomics of it, and then the price crashes because then everyone's like, what is this token that I'm earning even worth? And so I do agree with you. Like, you're sometimes like poking it or being like, do something to give this value, when at the end of the day, it's still just a fucking collectible that you're supposed to just like, and then hope or invest in things that you think are either scarce or that other people are going to want. And that can just stand alone as a collectible. I think it kind of goes back to our conversation last week, though. People just had such high hopes from what happened early on, both unrealistic because of the price action and also because of what Top Shot was kind of hinting at and promising and hinting at. And now, I feel like they've been put in a place where they've overpromised and underdelivered, which is always the place you don't want to be as a business.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Any other video takes you guys want to get off here? I'm actually jonesing to get to the spaces because my fucking blurry ass footage.
You look like hell.
Well, it's just so tilting because I literally just got my new computer, and I thought, my poor StreamYard days were behind me, and they are not. So I'm tilting that. But I guess the only other thing that might be video appropriate would be if anyone had a pack or something they wanted to open. Otherwise, we can take this conversation to the streets and hear what everyone else is thinking.
I'm trying to think if there's one final thing that. Maybe the chat. I'll throw one thing out that I think is just a fun conversation that I know we kicked around in our chat for a little, which is All-Star Weekend. It's in Cleveland this year. Don't ask me how or why the hell the All-Star Game's in Cleveland. Next year, I think it's in Utah. It has a bad few years of run. I've never been to Cleveland, so
I want to go to Cleveland. I legitimately
yeah.
want to.
I've been to Cleveland. It's a nice area.
It's okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fine. You know what? I'm not gonna.
I know what you mean, though, Jack. It's not a prestige location, but we can.
Prestige locations don't need the All-Star Game. You got to lift up the other cities.
Fair. I was in Chicago that was like the last event pre-COVID in 20, and it was just so cold. Just being up there in the middle of February is just brutal. But it was at least Chicago, right? And now you're same cold in Cleveland. Regardless, he teases, right? Roham teases that they're going to have a big activation. Once again, I completely understand why they can't give us any details. I'm sure a lot of that stuff.
What does activation even mean in this case?
Right. Like, are they going to do another kiosk?
Kiosk.
Right. Like, no, but there's a million things that, like, Bleacher Report builds out a whole court and a fan experience. You know, like, people do like serious shit there. It's one of the greatest. I mean, it's basketball. It's a huge basketball weekend. Meanwhile, we've got, I think we're allowed to say who's organizing the game.
Pack Drip?
Pack Drip is organizing like a fun game, and people, because I just tweeted the screenshot of his DM, right, saying I'm gonna play in that, and people like assume that that's actually like a Top Shot event where they invite some of the Top Shot like faces in the space, which would be super fun. Are they thinking about that stuff, or are they thinking about like just regular kiosk? I don't know, and this is where I definitely don't think I have the time for it, but some of the more dedicated people, like this council that they think they've created or they've talked about creating, like the fan input could be interesting, just so they always have a pulse on things.
I thought that was the Owners Club guys who floated that idea, and then it kind of died. And I just saw that they're trying to kick that back up again. Circling back to the Top Shot Basketball All-Star Game. Don't we have a conflict with that? Because isn't that in Springfield, Mass, All-Star Weekend, and now Top Shot is teasing?
Oh, it's the weekend after All-Star Weekend. I think it's February 12th.
Oh, it's the weekend after? Okay.
I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't.
No, sorry. It's the weekend before All-Star Weekend.
Okay, so maybe we can hit up the pinball convention and then roll over to the basketball.
All I can tell you guys is that all I want in the entire world is a second pinball machine now. It's unreal. Like, nothing's been more fun in my entire life. I go down there, the music is in my head, I'm rocking out, I have a drink, and like I'm on my own, and I'm down there, I'm rocking out, and I love it.
It's like tattoos.
I'm happy for you, Mike.
I am really happy for you, dude. You're really leading into suburban.
Are you guys happy for me, or like you'd be interested in like joining me for a session at some point? Like, tell me.
I would join you. I would join you for a sesh.
I need at least 3 Stellas and
food.
I'm not paying you to come. I'm not going down the Top Shot road where I have to incentivize everything. If you want to come, you come.
I want to know more details on the food, but we can save that.
Can I see a roadmap kind of for these pinball events, Mike?
This is ridiculous.
All right, let's head over to the spaces. It will be hosted on the Club Top Shot account. The link is also in the show description, and Clay will tweet it out, and we can continue this conversation over there. We enjoyed that, and also our dear friends CSU Rami and Andy 8052 said they might try to swing by and join us. So
before we go, just because we have this crew, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the chat, and have a good holiday. And my blazing hot take is Thanksgiving's the best holiday out there. So
I love Thanksgiving. I'm all about that. I agree with that.
I think it's and cranberry sauce is great as well. I'll throw that as well.
Yeah.
What else is competing with Thanksgiving?
Christmas, I'd say 4th of July could probably
4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day, if you consider those to be
you can consider them, but obviously they don't compete with Thanksgiving. That's ridiculous.
Well, an extended weekend of Labor Day is pretty fun. Your last big shebang before it turns to fall. Same with Memorial Day; it turns to summer. I mean, there's arguments, but I love Thanksgiving.
2 other things too. I know last week we teased that we would have the audio of the spaces. We didn't have that functionality, so I apologize to everyone who got rugged on that comment last week. This week, we do have it enabled. So if you're listening right now on the podcast, in a few minutes, you will hear a break, and then there will be audio from the spaces. So you're probably going to be looking at a longer episode, but apologies for the rug. And yeah, anything else here before we head over, guys?
That's all. Happy Thanksgiving,
Let's
everyone.
go to Spaces.
Yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving.
We'll see you on
in the
Twitter.
Spaces. Peace.
Peace.